Good morning. I would tell you one of the things that drove me crazy as a mom, bringing kids up in this technology age, um, was watching the groupthink within social media. I remember all the challenges. You remember the challenge, the ice bucket challenge, the cinnamon challenge, the Tide Pod challenge, all of these challenges, right? And my kids would always want to do them. And I would tell them, no, you're not doing that. That's freaking stupid. Why would you do that? Why? Because everybody else is doing it? It used to drive me crazy. Listen, just to explain a little bit about myself, I never followed trends. I will never follow trends because I've always instinctually known, even as a child, if everybody else is doing it, you probably shouldn't do it. There's that saying, right? Like, if everybody else was jumping off a cliff, would you jump off a cliff? Well, that's kind of how I've always lived my life. So when I started seeing this all start happening, it was very annoying to me. I had zero patience for it because I've always lived my life by my terms, never based on what anybody else said. I never needed coaching. I never needed people labeling me. I never needed people telling me what to do, what to think, what to eat, what to wear. None of it. I didn't care what everybody else was doing. And that really did create a very strong and resilient mind in me. Now, suddenly, fast forward, I've got all these kids, right? And it didn't come naturally to them, right? I had to teach it to them. I don't know how to teach what I do by instinct, but I did the best that I could. And we really see this full circle today. Like, we really see this need to fit in and belong. And I guess that just got compounded in me when I became a believer in 2010. In 2010, I gave my life to God because I knew enough about God to know that if I wanted to get my life together, it needed to include Him. So I went off to the church to find God. And I found a whole bunch of people doing the same thing. Everybody was walking the same path. Everybody was doing the same thing. Everybody was singing the same song, dressing the same way, talking the same way, all of it, right? And as I started to read my Bible, I noticed that none of them were actually doing what God wanted them to do. So I really found all the answers to who I was in my Bible. See, God's not just looking for people to follow Him. He's looking for people to use their gifts to serve Him, to serve His purposes, right? So every little, he says, my son's blowing up my phone, sorry guys. He says that we're fearfully and wonderfully created, right? He gives us the gift of sound mind. He put us together. He knitted us together in our mother's womb exactly the way He wants you to be. So that means that everything that you consider a flaw, He wants to use that for His good. He wants to use you to bring about His kingdom. So I really found all the answers to who I was in my Bible. See, God's not just looking for people to follow Him. He's looking for people to use their gifts to serve Him, to serve His purposes, right? So every little, he says, my son's blowing up my phone, sorry guys. He says that we're fearfully and wonderfully created, right? He gives us the gift of sound mind. He put us together. He knitted us together in our mother's womb exactly the way He wants you to be. So that means that everything that you consider a flaw, He wants to use that for His good. He wants to use you to bring about his kingdom.
I mean, think about this on a really macro scale, right? So right now in our society, we see so many people adopting these labels like victim, broken, autistic, ADHD, toxic, all of these things, right? He's using all of these things in the world, Satan is, to completely put these people in a bad frame of mind, right? In a very weakened posture, right? All of these people are so focused on themselves, they can't focus on God. But he has sent actual people who have these struggles with his spirit within them. Okay? These are the people who have the ability to talk to those people and say, hey, you don't have to let this define you. Look at the example of my life, right? So let's take my son Crispin for a minute. He is autistic. He's what you might know as higher functioning autistic, okay? He was nonverbal till he was almost 5, and then not intelligible until he was nearly 10. Now, most people can't even tell he's autistic, right? Because he did the work. He did the work. He didn't lay down and just say, I'm a victim. I have autism. This is the way my life is. He didn't curl up in a ball and give up. And we never let him do that. We were always behind him saying, look, this is something you have. It doesn't have you. You are still required to become a functioning member of society. You are still required to go out there and produce. You are still required to serve the Lord. And Crispin was brought up with that, okay? Many autistic kids are not, because their parents are perfectly happy to just say, oh, they're a victim. That's just the way they are. Oh, I can't change their diet because they won't eat. That's a load of garbage. They will eat. They will. They're going to give you a hard time at first, but that's what's called being a parent, right? You put in the work. You do it for their future, because you're not always going to be here for them. And what you're doing is unfair to them. Letting them be a victim is unfair to them. Letting anybody be a victim is unfair to them. And if you love them, you will not do that to them. I have so many grown adult friends who have autism, and they function. They have children. They have beliefs. They have regimens. They are walking the path with God, and they don't let autism define them as a human being. They've used their autism to strengthen their walk, right? To be a better witness, right? I love these people. They're doing the work. Listen, we have a whole world right now who just wants to do what the crowd is doing. And I'm telling you, it's going to lead to a very sad and lonely life. Right? And if we say that we believe in God, then we should not be looking for negative labels to put over our headboards, right? That's not who you are. You are a child of the Most High God. You're not all of these things that they want to word curse you with, right? Now, we see therapy culture just exploding. It's everywhere. Everybody needs a therapist. No, you don't. You need to know how to use the negatives in your life to create positives in your life, right? You had a bad childhood. You were rejected. You were set aside, sent away, whatever the case may be. Then that's what you use as your strength. You turn it into your superpower. You don't allow it to bash you in the knees so you're always down and out. That's not what life is about. That's not how we're called to live life. We're called to live life to the fullest, in abundance, in every way. How can you do that when you think negatively? How can you do that when you're thinking negatively about yourself? You can't. You're good for nothing. You're not prepared for any good work, right? We don't win people over by being a victim with them. We are conquerors. We are overcomers in Christ. That's how we win, right? we're supposed to take our weaknesses and go out and preach to others with weaknesses and say, yeah, I have weaknesses too, but I'm not going to stay there. I'm going to allow him to heal me so that I can help heal you, so that I can bring you to the truth. We can't do that. We are watching an entire generation of kids right now become unusable for the kingdom because they're believing lies about themselves. It's got to stop. It stops with you stopping it. It stops with every person. Stop lending yourself to the therapy culture that we see in the world. It's coming straight out of the pit of hell. Straight out of the pit of hell. What's their number one focus right now, right? Making you isolate from your family. The people who love you the most in 98% of the cases. The people who love you the most, the people who know you the most, the people who, no matter what you do to them in this lifetime, they're going to forgive you because they love you. And that is the therapy culture's number one goal right now. Get these people that are believing they're victims away from their families, because if we can do that, we can manipulate them forever, and we have a constant person on our couch till the day they die. Wow. Like, I think about that and it just makes me so sad. So I hope that as a parent, I see these ones with young ones today. I pray as a parent, don't give your kids the tablet. Don't give them the phone. Spend time with your kids, right? Talk to them. Tell them why these things are wrong. Teach them the way they need to go, or the world will. You have to be involved, you guys. Get off your phones. Spend time with your kids, right? I made the biggest mistake of my life when I allowed my kids to have tablets and phones, and I'm reaping the fruit of that now. And it's sour, bitter fruit. If you want kids that respect you, if you want kids who want to spend time with you, spend time with them now. Okay? Don't make my mistakes, because the fruit of them is very sour to the stomach. I pray you all have a good day. I hope you heard my message. I hope it encourages some of you, and I hope it wakes some of you up if you even dared to get this far in the video, because victims don't like to hear that they're not victims. That's the ironic part about all of this. Victims don't want you to encourage them. They don't want you to tell them that they're not broken, because this started way back in like 2012-ish. It was like the oppression Olympics. Everybody had to be broken. One was a cutter, one was depressed, one was ignored by their parents. Everybody was trying to outdo each other with their pain. Life is pain. You ain't getting away from it. And if you continue on the way you're going, you're going to miss all the things that make this painful life worthwhile. So I pray you turn and go the other way. Right now, in the name of Yeshua, I pray that all blinders are lifted off of you and that your spirit be restored. I love you all and have a great day.